Hello viewers, welcome to Core for Any. If you hear new, hit subscribe buttons and notification bell so you can never miss any our incredible content. Let us taxi up inside today we need to see this here the gets current running rights and also need to call this here the waiting for users API we need to call this here and to running screen inside need to set this here the data. First of all, so need to go inside the home view and to call this here the one API. We need to write down here one API. Need to need this here. First of all, so need to go inside the globe files and to write down here static const sv and to write down here home is equal to write down here as a base URL. Then after need to write down here the API names home. And another API I need to call today const dot sv driver wait for users is equal to dollar base URL drivers wait users. Like this, another API we need to calling this here. So we need to copy here node.js and paste. Now save this here. Now first of all, we need to go inside the home view and to call this here the API. Need to copy this API home and to paste this here. Now need to change this here home API and to change this here no needs parameters. Without parameters, need to calling this API sv dot home and we need to remove unused codes. If you get any data here, then need to open here get here any data, then means need to this write is running like this need to get here the response. Need to save this response inside the one objects and to write down here the object r is equal to response object e dot payload and to get this here the map objects optional value and to create here the all brackets inside you to get this here the running again so need to check here running as you need to check here the against map optional as well as if you get here one then always get like this the retrieve here the data for the running rights and to set this here now call this here the API inside the initialize and to call here API home save this here like this here the calling this API and to call done then after need to navigate to running screen to go we need to call this here the running screen previous some video before so need to creating here the this UI but now need to integrate here the real data now need to set this here first of all need this here the data for writes to write down here maps or objects so need to set this here and to give this here semicolons and also need to add this here the required parameters like this and also now declares here some parameters we need to define before so we need to write down here where to call this here const push extension method to call this here ride running rides and to pass this here the our objects this value need to set this here this is the extension methods need to creatings need to call this here like this here and to save this here like this calling then after need to configure here the inside data for the right now we need to define here one more things we need to set this here the const value need to write down here const bs pending is equal to write down here 0 like Celsius. Now need to write down same as another status for the ride. Set here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, const is and sub is equal to write down here 6 const and this. Now need to status once means accepted this ride accept. Status 2 means go to users driver going for the user pickup locations like this. Status 3 is equal to waiting for users driver come here but user not here. That's why I need to use this here the waiting for users need to users ride users need to send this here the notification driver come here waiting for the start your rides like the status need to need this here. Then after start status, then after complete status for the complete this ride like this need to defining here the status. Then after need to define here the one variables and to remove the status no needs now. Now clear this here's maps and to write down here write object is equal to like this at series. Now we need to define here initialize this class then to set this here the write object inside pass this here the widgets dot our object need to save this here. Then afterwards need to check this here the conditions for the drawing here the put here the pins set here the map initialize points. You need to set this here the locations. You need to apply this here but here not matters but we need to set this here temporary because need to explain in details and next video related to status. We need to complete full rights all API done after need to configure all things related to maps. We need to configure here now not waste of times because we need to explain here how can call this API and what is the logics need to implement here. If you booking ride status are the below the start rides, then to always show here the pickup address, not showing here the drop address, but we need to now displaying here both because need to explain here some logics. Now we need to get this here the double try to use this here double try parsers and to pass this here the ride objects and to give this here pickup latitudes and longitudes. So need to give this here pickup let to string and to set here optional 0 like sets. Same as need to copy against and to set here the longitudes for your locations long like this need to setting this here this variable. Then after need to copy against this and to set here the drop off pins initialize need to set is a drop off drop latitudes and drop longitudes like this set here and to configure this here. Then after we need to check here if show pickup pins need to show pin ride object and to pass this here putting status is equal to need to set this here the below start, be at start Like the set here the conditions and to apply these years. Then after so need to configure here the initial zooms need to set here the 15s like the settings here. Need to call this here. Now need to fix this here the error first of all. Need to arrive as a start. Need to set here the conditions. Need to write down here. Write objects need to give this here the book status and to set here the PS waiting for users. Need to set this here and displaying like this data. Now another status need to given this here. Copy here. Need to paste this here and to change this here as a start status equal to start. And to set here configurations need to some configurations are the needs. Now not configured. Now need to setting here the static because it's not important now. Need to configure here the path drawing with the specific print if users are the waiting for the arriving then to displaying here the current part to pick up pins. This time so need to drawing path need to set this here the value. Now not settings any this information. Now to set here the static. Then after so need to change this here the username so need to set this here dollars need to write down here write object and to give this here the names for usernames. This need to copy here these lines and to set this like here. Now we need to configure here the buttons. We need to configure arrive buttons. We need to configure to write down here. Write objects need to pass this here booking status is equal to bs go users then to arrive buttons. Another status need to set this here and to write down here bs waiting user equal to then to start button displaying here like this sets here. Then after so need to again so need to copy these conditions and to paste this here and to go to users then to call this here the API calling for waiting for users. Another conditions need to apply this here same as need to copy here and to like this if you bs waiting for users then to call this here API start right. Then after need to check this here the right status and to call this here the complete rights pop-ups need to showing like this need to conditions here the apply copy here these conditions and to put this here bs start equal to then to show this here this information total amount like this you need to setting this years and to configure this years also need to set here the const value fix this here issue like this need to configure years and to set this years. Now we need to configure here the this pickup pin here the showing after the running rats need to show here need to change this here the path and to configure here the sets value need to show first of all need to check here is pickup and to show pickup pins call this here the assets, to write down here drop of pin 1. Now need to set this here the address, need to write down this. Write objects, you need to set this here, show pickup pin, have to displaying here the pickup flow address. Otherwise show here it's a drop. Like this need to set here the informations for the this data as string optional, and to set this like here value. Now we need to configures like this here. Now after initialize this map, need to call this here the add markers friends, need to configures, need to set here, but not configures here the locations, so need to configures here the locations. Need this here the go ops and to copy here 3 lines. Copy here and to use this here. Paste here and to use this here for pickup pins. Copy here and to replace with C as a. Then after drop, like this need to set this here. Same as we need to put this here as a. And now pickup, set here comma, and to configure here the add markers and to remove this here. Now only showing both pins but not logics here the sets for the which status which pin displaying and which path into drawings need to explain in details in future video. Now not calling this here like this, need to all API callings, then after need to set here write complete API calling, then after need to configure here the roads which status in which road displaying here like this condition need to explain in shortly. Need to if here the go to users status, if you waiting for the drivers, then to showing here the only pickup pins, then after need to change the status as a started, then to showing this here the current location to drop off locations like this path drawing. If you are the status is a go to users, then to set this set here the displaying path as a current location to pick up pins like this showing here the pins and as well as the path like this need to configure inside the map, but we need to in futures. Now not set here, now directly set here the pickup and drop between the path and the drawings here, not create here the dynamic. Now need to importance here the calling this here the change status for the waiting for the users, need to notify here driver is come here, please come here, and to need to start rides like this, you need to send here the notifications right driver is come here. Now we need to write down here the to do and to call this here the API call, need to call this here void awaiting for users like this call sales. Now need to show here show HUD. Now need to write down here the service call functions. Post methods need to calling this here past here the parameters, need to give this here the booking ID is equal to, need to set this here right object booking ID Now need to pass here the API path as we driver waiting for users. Wait for users. Now is tokens API. That's why I need to do here. Now with success blocks inside, we need to get this here the response object and to write down here the async methods. Now we need to call this here the failure block. Gets here errors. Async block. Globe plots hide. HUD. MD show. We need to write down here the globe app names and to print here the error message. Error or to string and to semicolons. Now need to check this here. First of all, need to hide this HUD after getting any response. Now need to check here if response object key dot status equal to 1 and successfully change the status. Otherwise need to print this here the message. Copy here. To paste this here, need to write down here the response object dot message msg. Now if success, then to update this here the objects need to return here the new data from the servers. Payloads as map is and to set state like this need to calling it and to check it mounted. Now need to call this API inside the buttons, arrive buttons. Inside need to click events, need to give this here, need to comment ads here, need to write down call. Now this is the two API integrations are the done and now need to testing times. Need to restart these apps and to check this here. First of all need to set this here the breakpoint. Save here again need to restart. Now we need to get this here the home API calls and to get this here the running rights payloads inside to get this here the response as a runnings. Running inside we need to get this here the value for the ride booking ID, user ID, pickup location, then drop off locations, OTP like this value we need to get this here. If drivers then to get this here always here the blank not show here the driver side but we need this here the user side or this calling, that's why I need to put this here like this. Need to informations need to give this here the this is the usernames minimum kilometers like this configures here all things and also need to driver image like this and related to car information also need to give which cars are the comings for the years like this user identify need to configure here like this value. Then after so need to get this here the response need to get here the save inside this objects and to get inside this data and to pass this here the running rights view need to configure CS. Now need to run and to open this here the running rights view need to opening CS and to showing this here the map. Maybe set here breakpoint, that's why not displaying here. Now showing here the pickup address and drop off address, because now need to status is arrive. Then step 1 to displaying here the pickup locations and pickup pins need to show this here, and also need to set this here the address, and need to showing here the path drawing here. Like this need to informations need to save this here. Then after need to clicking here the arrive buttons and to call this here the await for the user notify need to get this here the success response and to print this here, and also need to change this here status not why not clicking need to check this here. Here set here not, that's why. Restart this here. Now this is the start thread, but need to again explains, because need to set here mistake take mistake, need to set here the integers value, that's why need to showing here the pop-up not reflect directly for the status. Now need to reset inside the database for this writes. Now need to go here and to change this here the booking status as a 2, go to users like this, and now need to restart again this app and to again set here arrive buttons need to set this here. Now need to showing here the arrive buttons and to click against and to get this here automatically updates yes, and to send here the notification, and also need to start here the timers for the cancel it, cancel the rights. If you not come here these times these users, then what to driver can cancel these rights. These buttons are the active here. Now not configure here the hide and show configurations, need to letters this set here, but need to first of all the start right to complete rights need to complete this flow with API callings. Then after need to small changes into create inside the one video. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.